So today I went to the Tokyo Game Show, and all I got was this lousy Xbox One promotional folder. But honestly, today I had a pretty productive day, especially for me, because usually I spend my weekends doing not a whole lot, which is kind of stupid considering the fact that I live in Tokyo. But today I threw on my best best cosplay looking outfit, which is really just straight up Harajuku girl, and headed on out to Chiba Prefecture to go to the Tokyo Game Show, which, if you're not super familiar with it, is basically the closest thing you can get to E3 in Tokyo. Um, and after having a great day there, in a lot of ways, met up with a lot of my good friends from last year, uh, saw some stuff, which I'll get to, and yeah, and then to continue my productive streak and actually going out of the house, I went to a work-related meeting and got myself a fancy new title. Went shopping, bought myself some K-pop, and yeah, I had a good day. Had a few bevs. So once again, I am coming to you slightly drunk, only slightly though this time. So anyway, the main topic of this video is why I should have remembered this year that I really don't like the Tokyo Game Show. Let's see, I didn't go last year because last year it fell during the period of time I was actually back in Canada because I came to Japan in 2011 and then left in June the next year, and the game show is usually in September, so I actually missed it last year. But I went the year before, and it was really, really boring, and I had forgotten the true reason why I don't like the show, because I had just chalked it up to that was really kind of a boring year. The consoles had been out for ages, so, there's nothing really new or interesting that I wanted to see. But it's not just that. The main reason why the Tokyo Game Show is not, or main reasons why the Tokyo Game Show is not interesting are as follows. First of all, Japanese gamers and Western gamers do not necessarily have the same tastes, as you might guess. So while Western titles are there, things that, you would expect to see on, PS4, Xbox One from having watched E3, most of them are there, but a fair number of them are really hidden, and some are just flat out absent. I searched for Watch Dogs all goddamn day, and damned if I could find it, and that was the thing I actually most wanted to see. So there's that. And that's really a big thing because most of the titles I would see, or the big booths, are for. There's a lot of mobile gaming there, but it's not necessarily the mobile games that we're familiar with. It's mobile games that Japanese people are familiar with, and they're big mobile game companies, and those are just not things I'm interested in. Most of them I don't even think come out in English. And then beyond that, they have, a huge, huge number of games that are really Japanese only titles, or if they get ported, they're just not things that we care about necessarily. They're not big names for us. So a huge amount of floor space is devoted to that. Next, Tokyo Game Show is not a platform where things are announced again about the stuff that we care about. All that stuff is done overseas in English-speaking countries. So while I'm sure they do have announcements, but they're always for things where they're Japanese-only stuff, for mobile platforms or whatnot, or they're just Japanese-only games. So, even if I could speak Japanese, which I can't, which completely voids the interest factor for me, it would be for stuff I don't care about. Also, the setup is just really poor. The show is not as busy as you might expect. Like, I've been to busy cons in Japan, and they're busy, but this one is just not so big. And, and it's soaring. Now, while lots of people do come to it, it's really hard to explain. It's a lot, I don't know, it's a lot better than you would expect. Like, I thought when I went the first year, I went on a Sunday because that was my day off, and I thought, okay, maybe everybody went on Saturday. But then this year, I'm like, okay, new consoles, it's going to be really busy. And yes, it was busier, but not really packed. like to compare it, I went to Fan Expo in Toronto, which I really enjoyed. That was actually a really great con. That was incredibly packed compared to this. And this is the Tokyo Game Show. This is the video gaming expo for Tokyo in Japan, and it's not that crowded. Um, and then also, the way they set stuff up is not good. Like, for instance, the main things I wanted to see, of course, were the Xbox and PlayStation booths. And I went over there, and you can play things if you want to wait 2 hours to play something. So I didn't play anything, which also kind of lowers the experience for me. And they had everything so incredibly crammed in. Now, I was more interested in the PlayStation stuff than the Xbox stuff, but I spent most of my time at the Xbox booth because the PlayStation booth was so badly set up that you really could barely squeeze through to actually see other people playing the games. Like, it was just so incredibly narrow, despite the fact that outside of the booth they had these giant corridors where you could walk around. So really bad use of space. But yeah, in general, it just wasn't fun. They just focused on the wrong things, and then some of the things I wanted to see um, are or were just hidden. They'd have them, where yes, you could play test them if you wanted to wait 2-3 hours, maybe more, but you couldn't actually see them as a spectator. You'd have to actually go into this special little walled booth, and that's the only way you could see it, which just really, really sucked. Like, the wait times are just insane. Like, my friend wanted to try Battlefield 4, so he actually got to the convention before I did, and he lined up, and I got there an hour later, and then I walked around for an hour and a half and messaged him and said, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm waiting for Battlefield 4, it'll just be a bit longer." After 2.5 hours, he still had not played it, and he just gave up, and I said, "Well, how much longer would it have taken you?" And he said, "At least another hour and a half, just based on the line, because I guess there's a normal line and a VIP line, and the VIP line gets to go first always, so it just makes it impossible to try anything." Or things like, I had a few people that I know who wanted to try Titanfall. That line was well over 2 hours as well. And the show it's not open for that long in the day. Like, it starts at 10, but the lineups are so huge that if you get there at 10, it's going to take you forever to get in. Like, I showed up at, God, what time was it? 1? No, maybe 12:30. And it took me about 45 minutes to actually, 30, 45 minutes to get in. And there weren't even that many people waiting at that point. So yeah, when your convention is only open from 10 until 5 p.m. and they start shutting stuff down at 4, you really can't do anything. Like, you can play one game basically if you're willing to wait a couple of hours, and then you don't get to see anything else. Like, for me, I prefer to just walk around and watch, the games I could see being played and then just move on. Overall, I got to see the new consoles, which was cool. So, got to see them in person in the flesh. And I did not get to try the PS4 controller because I wasn't willing to wait for any of the demos, but the Xbox had a specific controller demo place where the line actually wasn't so long. So I got to go up, and they had this special set of programs to show off the new vibrations, which I have to say are fucking awesome. And they had this thing where, you could feel heartbeats, and you could feel, helicopters as they were rising. You could feel the rotor vibrations, and how, as the helicopter moved off to one side, the vibrations would move off to one side of the controller. It's actually really, really amazing. I will give them points for that. They've added 2 extra motors, I believe, and made the first 2, I guess, a little bit better. But yeah, very, very cool controller. I like it. And I don't know if it was just me and if anybody else has actually touched the Xbox One controller. I feel like it's not smaller because they have them side by side, the 360 and the One controllers, but it's a bit slimmer. Like, from top to bottom. It's the same size from side to side and, up and down, but the actual thickness seems to have gone down, which I'm sure a lot of people will object to because they like the bulkiness of it, but I actually liked because I don't like how big the Xbox controller actually is. But yeah, anyway, let's see, what else interesting did I see? Jesus, not a whole lot, really. Yeah, most of the show is honestly really boring. Like, they took up a third of one of the main halls with, video game developer schools in Japan. Like, not the best. I saw some cute cosplay, although I had no idea what most of the people were because they all cosplay as, you know, Japanese video game characters for games that don't get ported to North America, or as anime characters that I've never seen before. But still some very cool costumes. Um, God, yeah. Aside from that, there really wasn't a whole lot. Um, One thing that amused me was that Grand Theft Auto came out, of course, for everyone in English a few days ago, and I actually managed to get a copy in Akihabara, in Tokyo, which a lot of my friends were jealous about because they had no idea that they would actually import it here so quickly. I got it on launch day. Um, but of course, the Japanese version has not come out yet. I think it comes out mid October, maybe. And because of that, there was a big Grand Theft Auto 5 booth at the Tokyo Game Show, and there was this huge line of all these Japanese people waiting to go in and play it. And I'm just looking at them going, I've been playing this game solid for a few days now. I feel really bad for you guys that you're waiting in this huge line, and I could go home right now and put it in, but a little bit of amusement there. Let's see, what else did I see? God, in the way of demos, stuff I don't play. Like I saw, some Forza being played, and honestly, to me, it really looked the same as it does now. The new gen version is not a massive improvement, but it's cars and shiny metal textures are really easy to make, so I'm not surprised it doesn't look much better. Um, Got to see some Titanfall. I think that was the thing I ended up spending the most time watching, just because it was a really easy spot to stand and look. Um, if you like big mechs and I'd really say it's like Halo type first person shooter combat with jetpacks and mech drops, um, you know, might be for you. They were only doing, like the like deathmatch multiplayer. Um, so I have no idea what the campaign looks like. And they also made sure to, warn you before playing that it was not just an alpha, but a pre-alpha, so really not completed. Um, but like if that's your thing, it looked very cool. For people who enjoy that. That's not my type of game, but anyway. What the fuck else did I see? Jesus, not much. I saw a little bit of the PlayStation game Knack being played. That looked cute. I would have liked to have tried that, but again, 2-3 hour wait. Not gonna wait that long for it. Um, and most other stuff, like I just couldn't see. Like I could see it from a distance, but if you tried to stop and watch people playing it, because things were set up so badly, you would have to stand at a choke point, and then the minders in the area would just force you to move along. So most of the things that were easy for me to see were all the things I did not care about, so it made it really hard. Um, Saw a little bit of Battlefield 4 being played in deathmatch from far away. If you enjoy Battlefield, you know, okay, but the big thing I really came away with was most of the stuff I saw that was supposed to be next gen really doesn't look that much better than what's currently available on current gen. Now, I'm sure if I had gotten to see some of, the more RPG-ish stuff, it, might have been a little bit shinier, but I don't know, like a lot of the shooter stuff, it just did not look that much better. And of course, the cars never do, so the racing stuff didn't. Saw a few different racing games, all look the same as always. So overall, I was just really kind of underwhelmed with the whole thing. But yeah. Anyway, so that was the Tokyo Game Show. So if you've never been, I guess it's worth going just because. But I was just really disappointed because I was very psyched to see all the new stuff, and it's just not highlighted. So it makes me really want to go back to North American game cons because they care about what I care about. But I guess just to finish this off, interested in what I'm wearing my Harajuku suit. All of this was bought, except for the hat, in Harajuku. This is my Harajuku girl outfit. So, there you go. And, yeah, I will, again, I always make this promise, I'll try to make more videos more frequently, but I'm trying to do my law school applications, and I have other work-related things going on, so I may actually have less time and it won't just be laziness. So hopefully that goes well for me, and I will talk to you guys later.